Hey guys, welcome back to the Lawrenceville Bicentennial podcast, the podcast where we talk to the people that know Lawrenceville best. I'm your host, Nate McGill from Gwinnett Magazine. Today on the show, we're talking all about community outreach. You, the people of Lawrenceville, have a say in all of the cool things happening in the city. You can make suggestions, and the people we're talking to today take all of that input and they make cool things happen here in the city. So you don't want to miss this episode. My suggestion that somehow we get free burritos. You know, like that's my suggestion. You'll hear all about it in this podcast. Check it out. All right, guys, welcome back to the Lawrenceville Bicentennial podcast. Today, we're talking about reaching out. We're reaching out. We want to get everybody involved with the cool stuff that's happening in Lawrenceville, and you have a great opportunity to learn a whole lot about that today as we have got our community outreach heroes here. So we have Jasmine and Helen here in the studio to tell us all about cool stuff going on with community outreach. Helen, why don't you kind of introduce yourself and then tell us what you do for the city of Lawrenceville.
So I'm Helen, Appenzeller-Balch. I work in the Planning and Development Department. We focus on the future for the city in terms of getting together the comprehensive plan and paving a path for the future.
Yeah.
So our community engagement is getting the input from the community and learning what it is that they want to know, they want to have in the future.
Oh, I gotcha.
What they would like to see.
So people can actually kind of contribute their thoughts to all the cool stuff that's happening. Very, very cool. And of course, Jasmine, you've been on the show before. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
For the folks who don't know you, why don't you just introduce yourself again and what you do, what you're doing over there at the city?
So I'm Jasmine Billings. I serve as a community development manager. Everything about my role is very external based and forward facing. So events and tourism, arts commission, youth engagement. We work really closely with planning and development from a standpoint of just making sure that as we're reaching out to the community through surveys and just learning about what the community wants to see, that we're supporting them in that effort. And, you know, internal base, we have our diversity, equity, and inclusion committee. So working with that as well to make sure that our voice is heard within the city of Lawrenceville as well.
Yeah, awesome. And I guess you guys are getting ready for Summer of Impact again this year?
Yes, gearing up, as well as Lawrenceville Legacy Leaders, which we'll talk more about, but that was birthed out of Summer of Impact, just a 9-month cohort that just gets to learn about civic and community engagement and just more about building their legacy here in Lawrenceville.
Oh, wow. I love that. That's really great. Well, we can talk about it now if you want to, because I mean, while we're on the subject, I think it's cool. We had Summer of Impact. We talked about the internship programs before on the podcast, and we kind of went into how that kind of founded. It just gives kids an opportunity, students an opportunity to get involved with Lawrenceville businesses and really get some real world experience, which is pretty cool. So how did the legacy program start?
Yeah, so Summer of Impact, like we mentioned, started in 2018, and so we always had a vision of creating something longer for students. Right now, Summer of Impact's just the 8 weeks of the summertime, giving them those real-world work experience, paid internships. But Lawrenceville Legacy Leaders actually starts in August of, it started last year, August of 2022, and the students were able to just really tap into their leadership skills, learn more about themselves. This was the first time that we had most of the schools represented. Lawrenceville has 5 different high schools within the area. And so being able to have students from GSMST, Discovery High School, Central Gwinnett all come together and collaborate was really important and really incredible to see. We also had the students learn about their community, and so they volunteered with the Lawrenceville Co-op and just learned about the process of really giving back to the community and just how important it is as youth to really just hear their voice and just learn more from each other, but also learn how to give back in the process. And so this program, like I said, 9 months, we had our first cohort of 20 students, which was incredible.
Very
it's
cool.
Exciting. Yeah.
It is. It's so cool. And what's really fun about that is that as we're teaching the students about their community, we get to learn in the process. You know, I mean, when I was 16, 17 versus now, it was a very different mindset. And so being able just to learn from each other and just hear from them about what they want to see in their future, I mean, it's incredible. And then also I plug to, planning and development as far as the comprehensive plan, being able for them to actually be a part of that process and giving ideas of what they want to see within their community and just shaping how their future could really make an impact. I think it's incredible incredible opportunity for them as well.
Yeah, maybe kind of tie into how the comprehensive plan kind of ties into that and works with just kind of painting the picture for, what is happening and how it's going to happen.
So doing the comprehensive plan allows us to be a qualified government, which allows us to apply for funding, for grants to be able to create projects like adding sidewalks or adding more lighting to create a more safe environment for the community.
Right.
So when we are working with communications department and getting input from students, it was so awesome. So they created an event, a Well Fest,
Positive Vibes, Positive
a few
Minds.
weeks ago.
Nice.
Yes, and we had students become ambassadors and walk around and ask questions for the survey that we have,
very cool.
which is available online, by the way. And they at first they didn't want to participate. They're like, "Well, what comments do you want from us?" And I said, "Well, think about this. We are planning now for your generation, for your future. What would you like to see?" And it's like
The light bulb goes
went
off.
up. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. So then in that,
Wow, input.
Yes.
Wow.
yes.
All
So
right.
then they started making notes, and it was very interesting to see the difference between what adults want to see and what students want to see. And it wasn't that much of a difference. They
Really?
wanted to see more green space, safer areas to hang out,
Wow.
sidewalks, bike lanes. I was like, this is very similar to what adults want. So,
Well, that's good.
They were very mature about it too. There was one or two that were like more chocolate stands or
Yeah.
something like that. But other than that, they were some of them were actually thinking about what it is that they would want to see in the
Yeah.
future.
I'm down for free burritos. That's kind of what
Absolutely.
I think.
Anytime.
Just some burrito stands. I would love that. Can we put that in the plan? Is that an option?
I mean, we can take the input.
You can fill it. You can put it on the card.
Yes, we can add it to the
someone,
notes. Yeah.
What's really cool about all of this too, and with Lawrenceville Legacy Leaders, that's in a partnership with Impact 46. So obviously Jen Young was
Right.
also on the podcast earlier, but being able to really make a collective impact with so many different partners, being able to really just bring together a group of community that sometimes may not know how to get involved or get engaged, and so having platforms and opportunities like this, I think go a really long way.
All right, awesome. So, guys, tell me how you guys both work together on some of these initiatives. What are some of the things that are going on where you just really have to rely on one another?
So the planning department would not be able to do anything without the community development aspect and the communications relations aspect. So anything that we need to do has to go through them.
Oh, okay, I see.
And so we get together, we talk about what our plans are, how we need to get information from the public.
I see.
And say, this is our idea, this is essentially what we need them to know, and we pass it along to them. And Elena Tullis does an amazing job at putting things together. So if it weren't for them, the word wouldn't get out.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, our so marketing is within the community relations department, and so relying heavily on Melissa and Elena for just getting information out. But from my standpoint, when we work with planning and development, from if we need to get information out to the schools, to the businesses. So one of my roles is just making sure that businesses are up to date on what's going on, and so we may send them the link, just hey, send this out to your staff, send this out to the principals of the schools, and send it out to the students, and just go from there. The neighborhood alliances, just really important as we build relationships, just to get the word out as much as possible. And so we work really closely in that regard. From my standpoint with planning, it's with the Arts Commission, there's process and procedures, there's policy. I am not aware of every single ordinance that we have in Lawrenceville, but
I gotcha.
What's really great is that it has a department that understands all the nuances that come with that. And so making sure from an Arts Commission standpoint that as we're developing and working on, just driving art forward in the public, that we're working with planning and development to let them know, hey, here are our plans, this is what we're doing, what can we do, what constitutes as a mural, what doesn't, what's a sign permit versus not, just making sure that we're aware as we're going through that process, and making sure the businesses are also aware as they're, upgrading their spaces, upgrading their facades, whatever the case may be. We really work closely to make sure that we're just following policy and procedure.
Yeah, you have a good checks and balance system there where you're both working with each other to figure out what you can do. Because I would imagine zoning kind of falls into that too when you're looking to do art projects and things like that.
Yeah, so a lot of times I feel like I'm the bearer of bad news because she comes in with great
idea.
And I'm like, that's awesome, but these are the rules. Yeah. So,
but it's perfect though because That's my biggest thing is I'm going to do the craziest, most creative things that we possibly can.
Sure, push it,
and push the
and then
limit.
you pull back, you know.
You tell
and
me
so,
what we can and cannot do. Yeah, exactly.
That's the way everything creative kind of works. I feel like, you know, it's just that ebb and flow of like, what can we do? You know, sometimes, you know, you can come up with some pretty incredible stuff working inside the box. I know a lot of people talk about thinking outside the box, but you know, real creativity usually has some limits set to it, whether it's a budget or whether it's, you know, zoning or any of that kind of stuff. So, and then you can get really creative with your spaces. And so you guys are always passing back and forth communication and information, not only to get the word out about what you're doing, but also to get the community's ideas and thoughts and input on what they want. Yeah. So that's kind of a cool dynamic as well.
It's really crucial.
Yeah, no, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that it's just really important that as we talk about stakeholders, right? Like that is a very broad term. It can mean so many different things.
Right.
But a youth perspective versus someone who's been in Lawrenceville since birth and, you know, that's retired, or versus maybe a business owner, those are very unique perspectives. So trying to figure out ways to collaborate, connect with them is really important to us. And so sometimes, you know, like you mentioned, thinking outside the box, I mean, we may have a framework, but we may have incentives to help with getting information. We may, our biggest thing is meeting people where they are.
Right.
We can't always do things at City Hall. Not everyone's coming to City Hall. If you want to, feel free. We're absolutely welcoming to you, but it's really important for us to actually go to the community. And so, I mean, I know Helen will talk about this, but, you know, sometimes they go to grocery stores, they go to businesses, they go to schools, just to make sure that they're actually meeting people where they are instead of expecting those people to meet them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
So
I think so, sure. No. Go ahead.
So when we were working on the Livable Centers initiative in 2021, we had an open house at City Hall. And it was the most awkward,
really
lonely time. And so I would have to actually go to the people that were coming in to pay a bill and say, hey, take 5 minutes of your time.
Right.
And there was, oh, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm just coming in to pay. I'm leaving.
I'm just in and out.
And so the very few, I got maybe 10 people to give us their input, but it was like, well, this is not working.
Yeah.
So we have to go somewhere else. I'm not sure if we're allowed to say where we went, but we went to places where people were there and they were friendly and they were having a good time. So it was easy for them to say, hey, you know what? I actually don't like this street.
Yeah.
Or can you make a change here? So it was really good. We were able to do that. And I think that this was the most input we received in any of the studies the city has done. And so we said, this worked. We're going to keep on doing it when we have to update the comprehensive plan. And it's going well so far.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's awesome. Yeah, because you're right. I mean, people are coming from all walks of life, and you can find different people in different spots, different places. You got people coming from it from the, you know, churches and church perspective. You got folks who want to have, you know, a nightlife and come to events and do fun things. And you've got, you know, folks who are doing life there. And now you have a lot of people living in walkable areas to the city, which is relatively new within the last 10 years for sure. Yeah. So that's kind of like, it's pretty, I mean, it puts diverse to another level. You got everybody coming in. And then just to a point of what you guys were talking about before of just, you know, not only the ideas that are coming internally that you're wanting to execute, but here you are in a city full of a ton of creative minds, a ton of business owners, a lot of people in that downtown area. And of course they have their dreams and want to do things. And so they have to check in too. And that's where, you know, zoning, planning, comprehensive planning, all that kind of stuff kind of factors in as well.
Yeah, so we definitely want the community to know to come check with planning and development first to make sure that they're in the correct zoning district.
Right.
And if they're not, what can we do to get them there? What can we do to help them through the process of rezoning a property? And if it's even feasible to do that. And one thing that we always make sure to tell the customers is that you have a right to submit an application. So whether we tell you that the department may or may not support something, you still have a right to submit an application.
Right, just to see if you can have it changed and rezoned. It's interesting because, you know, with Lawrenceville being around for over 200 years now, you've had historically residential areas become commercial areas, and then you've had commercial areas turn back into residential areas. So you've seen the ebb and flow I mean, I remember being a kid, like I'm from here, guys. So the first video rental store that I ever rented videos from is kind of where a lot of the new living areas are now.
Okay.
Remember where Peachtree Cafe used to be? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, the building like right next door used to be like a mom and pop video rental. This was before Blockbuster. Like I'm talking way back in the day, VHS, big old tapes. And I will never forget, like, you know, growing up and just seeing the area change and more, because none of that's there anymore. It's totally different. If you were here 10, 20 years ago and then you left and then you came back, you just don't even know where you're at anymore.
We hear that all the time, especially when we're out in the community. People who have lived in Lawrenceville their entire life, or they grew up there, they're like, it's just so different. There's so much more activities, or, you know, I love the events that are happening, or whatever the case may be. I mean, I started in Lawrenceville in 2017 when it was like we were doing groundbreakings for all the things that are here now. The Lawrenceville Arts Center, the
amazing.
South Lawn Project. And so seeing it all come to fruition, but it, you know, I think one of the biggest things that we like to share with the community is that it takes years for these things to happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think that this stuff happens overnight, like, oh, well,
that's why
the
you need a
streets are
plan.
now two-way. It takes a lot of planning.
That was from the 2030 comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
It
which
takes
was
a lot
done
of planning.
like 10, 15 years ago.
Okay, good. Well, then I need to know what's going to happen in the future.
So with the comprehensive plan, it's all about the future, obviously, and we are including the transportation master plan. And this is so we can take care of the local streets, because the county has a comprehensive transportation plan, but they focus on the major roads that they deal with. So this would make sure that we're able to ask for grants to improve the local streets and maybe even bring in transit to the city of Lawrenceville. And so we're also trying to put it together so that way there's projects that we can coordinate with the engineering department. And let's say we don't put a sidewalk down and then engineering comes in and says, oh, actually electric needs to do something here. So that way it's just one expense.
Yeah.
And so also takes with doing more studies and figuring out what works best for the city. So right now we're trying to slow down traffic in the square area.
Sure.
And we're going to be doing a study to figure out, is it possible to do a two-way there? Or do people even want a two-way?
Right.
But we definitely want to slow down traffic. And so that way we'll slow down traffic and also make people interested in what's there.
Right.
So you're going slower, you see people hanging out at this restaurant. I wonder, maybe I should go there and check it out. It's full, so it must be good.
It must be good. Yeah.
And so it slower traffic and more walkability improves economic development.
Sure. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I think it's mostly just coming down 29 right there, right? Because it's like the other area you've got, you know, oh gosh, what is that? 20.
Pike Street.
Yeah. So that's kind of a bypass to the city coming that direction towards Grayson. But then the other direction, you have a lot of cars kind of coming in, and there's those 3 lanes there.
One of the purposes for this plan is to figure out how to divert traffic. The people who are trying to get through the city go around instead of coming in, or have them come in but still not create the massive traffic that we get between where Pike becomes a one street.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that's kind of exciting. I'm sure y'all do a great job. We'll look at it in 10 years, and then we'll be like, that's what happened.
So the timeline is
happened?
to be completed by October of this.
Oh man.
Of this year.
Yeah, y'all move
just
fast.
Just study, yeah. So once we get that approved by the city council, we're going to go ahead and send it to DCA, and once that gets approved and they say yes, you did a good job, go ahead. Then we can start looking into implementing some of those projects.
Very, very cool. Very cool. I want to hop back over to talk about Art Council a little bit more too, because I mean, recently the Depot District, you guys put in the signs over that have like multi-purpose. The large trucks can't get under there, so it does kind of help with the traffic issue there with the large trucks coming through. But then also it's the branding of this area in Lawrenceville that is pretty cool. It's got a couple breweries. It's really fun. I mean, it's kind of like a lively event type area where you can go and have a great great day. Tell us a little bit about that project. If you don't mind.
Yeah, so we actually call that the Depot District, and it's our entertainment district. And
I got
so
you.
whenever we're talking about planning and whatnot, we really try to make sure that the zoning in that area are just meant for things that people can actually enjoy, activity-based and things of that nature. But
I see.
When the Lawrenceville Arts Commission first came about, they launched in October of 2020. I feel like they were inherited some really cool projects that they got to work on, Shoehorn Alley being one, and the Depot District
Sure.
sign. And so like you mentioned, the Depot District signs serve two purposes. You're able to actually know, okay, what is this area that I'm in if you've never been to Lawrenceville?
Yeah.
Right.
You're going to Slowport, Iron Shield, you're going to Calvary Glass, you're enjoying music at the train depot. What can I do down here and where am I? You know?
Yeah.
So being able to have those serve two purposes is really cool. But then being able to see the Arts Commission come together and really just collaborate on what could this look like that actually resembles this area? So that industrial feel that you see, the structures made out of iron, the even from down to the small details of Lawrenceville being on top, etched out in iron. I think that was really cool to see that all come together.
Sure.
But then also serving the purpose to, have those trucks that are along Maltby Street just kind of go around that area to go out onto Beaufort instead of cutting through the square is really important to us too. Lawrenceville created those. We worked with the businesses to create the patios in front of some of the businesses, so there's outdoor dining.
Yes.
And so when you're sitting there and you hear a truck pass by, it's really loud.
Oh, yeah.
Very loud. And many of us have experienced that. And so being able to have those trucks go around the space and not have to actually cut through the downtown square was really important.
Right.
And so those signs service that. And so, I think what's really neat about them is that it's something that the Arts Commission can really say, like, oh, we had a part in that. And being able to see art move forward. And you don't have to just put signs up that are just metal rods and call it a day. You can actually put some art to it that, makes the area, liven the area up as well.
Yeah, you definitely feel the difference. You definitely feel the change when you make a change like that. You might not understand it at first, and people go, "Oh, why do we need that?" But if that patio example is perfect. You're sitting out there, and then you're just kind of like, "Well, haven't seen any trucks in a while," and this kind of thought goes into the process. And I think it's cool as we're talking about community outreach that people can actually put in kind of input of what they want to have happen, because that downtown area is super special. I mean, not everybody's got one, and it's just a cool place to hang out. And man, it really is kind of the place to be in Gwinnett right now, I feel like.
What's cool too is that we're a Main Street community, which is just that Main Street is really about revitalizing downtowns.
Right.
And so there's an approach to it where you're just, making sure there's the historic elements of your downtown are, special. We're making sure that our businesses are connected, making sure that our community is engaged through events and tourism and things of that nature. And so being able to follow that approach and then also see the halo effect of that, right? I think some of the big things we hear is that, sometimes everything is focused downtown, but from Department of Community Affairs, when we were meeting with them, and they say, you have to have a hub so then you can have the halo effect outwards. And so then you work with your planning department to really just build the community outside of that and say, okay, here's what our downtown's doing. How do we continue to grow that essence across the board? And so I think that's been really cool about that too.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you have seen the city expand. A lot of that is the Livable centers. And maybe talk about that initiative a little bit and kind of what you guys are doing there.
So with the 2021 LCI, we were able to expand the boundary, actually.
Oh, okay.
And so the downtown area has expanded, and it goes down to Gwinnett Drive, and it goes up to the College Corridor.
Okay, I see.
And would now call the Grizzly
Grizzly Way,
Grizzly Way. And so we have more opportunities now to ask for grants and more funding to be able to come up with projects that will benefit the community as a whole. So a lot of times people get upset that the LCI only focuses on the downtown, but like you said, we want to create a halo effect.
Yeah.
And so when we improve the core, it'll just halo out.
I see.
And we have started seeing that. We have had developers come in and say, I want to do apartments and a mixed-use development. And we have some on Beaufort Drive and one on Collins Hill Road. So we are seeing the halo effect.
Yes.
In terms of, I think when we were talking about living, we're talking about people, we're talking about diversity, we're talking about inclusion, we're talking about having a place for everybody. What kind of thought goes into just kind of providing livable spaces for families of all income levels?
So as of right now, the city of Lawrenceville does have affordable housing. A lot of people say that we do not, but we did do a housing study, and we have about 30% of affordable housing.
Okay.
And so we do have it. It's, I think, maybe a matter of the houses are old, so some people may not want to go in those specific areas.
I see. Yeah.
So we do want to be able to revitalize the community as a whole through code enforcement and educating the community as to what to do to maintain your property.
I see.
You know, it can easily be with just cutting your grass every 2 weeks, and then that will make your property look better. And then the city does have working with the LHA, the Lawrenceville Housing Authority, where people can ask for a soft loan to help them improve their property. They have to own and live at the home to be able to qualify for that.
I gotcha.
There's other things that they have to meet, but we do have those resources for people to improve their homes.
Wow, that's cool. 30%. That's more than I would think.
And the great thing is that being able to see the housing study come to fruition and seeing like some of the facts that we've gotten back from that has been really interesting, just to know Lawrenceville makes up 3% of the population in Gwinnett, but we host 30% of affordable housing. But I think our mayor and council and our city leadership do a great job when developers come in trying to find that balance.
Yes.
Right.
And just having discussions about, yes, we understand market rate, we understand that portion of it, but how do we make sure that we're not displacing people who may not be able to afford that with our median income, as a city. And so I think there's that balance and that discussions that take place well before development actually even gets to break ground.
Sure.
And I think Helen mentioned it really greatly about the education part of it and just making sure that people understand, as a resident in Lawrenceville, those are not things that are taken lightly. Those are not things that are just kind of fallen by the wayside. I think our leadership does a really great job at having those discussions, but there has to be a balance. And so one of the things our housing study mentioned also was, executive housing and how we don't have a really a great deal of executive housing. So how do you find the balance? And I mean, it's an uphill battle for sure, especially in today's society and just with interest rates and things of that nature. But how do you find a balance of being able to have those type of housings in the market as well as focusing on attainable and affordable housing?
Yeah. It seems like in your residential plan, where you're going to be able to do something that benefits the community. Obviously, you want executives to come live. Northside's expanding building. They're going to have doctors and lawyers and all kinds of people coming in. And then lots of lawyers. Lawrenceville's always had lots of lawyers.
We want them to work in Lawrenceville and live in Lawrenceville.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think it's great. And then you have certain parts of town historically, you've seen different cultures kind of gravitate. And I think it's kind of true that everybody sort of does that. Everyone talks about a melting pot, but really it's like one of those plates you used to get in the cafeteria, for lunch, have the dividers in there where everybody kind of just, and you'd get the square pizza and you could put that in the big part of it. It's kind of like that's sort of how sometimes the puzzle pieces work with where cultures tend to gravitate. Because, at the end of the day, people like us do things like this. That's kind of the definition, the best definition of culture, I find. And so finding something of just getting all those stakeholders in the conversation to say, historically, what have you liked, what have you not liked, and then how to have businesses come in to increase those different cultures' quality of life in the specific way that they want it. Not everybody wants the same kind of restaurants. Not everybody shops at the same kind of stores. Not everybody's after the same kind of clothing. You got to have a big picture, and this stuff doesn't happen overnight, as you guys have been talking about. It's pretty incredible, the work that you do.
Thanks. Yeah,
it's fun. So with the Community Development Department has the Hispanic,
Cultura?
The Cultura Festival, and
awesome! Yeah,
Milo.
Can I get the free burritos there? That's what I want.
That's a good. Maybe next time.
Taco, everything. Okay, so I'm there. So they don't have to be free. I'm coming.
Probably. I don't know. We can work something up. I met with Jackie Segui and Milo with the Community Development Department, and we drove around the city looking for the Hispanic businesses, and it was really interesting because I thought I knew all of them. So it's like, okay, we'll go here, we'll go here, we'll go here, and then it's like, oh, I didn't know this one was here, so let's go in and check it out, you know? And so it was really good to see that some of the businesses we did visited signed up to be vendors for that event. And it was really great to see how culturally diverse it was, just because even within the Hispanic community or the Latin American community, there's so many different cultures within that.
Oh,
so
100%.
It was really great to see a very fun event.
Yeah.
Award winning.
Yes.
As well.
Yes.
It's a little subtle plug, but and I think our events team does a really great job at just creating events that are for a wide array of the population that are in Lawrenceville, you know, and making sure that we're looking at our Around the World in the DTL, partnered with the Atlanta International Night Market, or our Juneteenth celebration, or even things like our summer concert series. Just being able to provide a diverse mixture of live entertainment and activities and things of that nature, I think is really incredible. And, you know, one thing that we always talk about is that how do we make sure that as we're planning events, as we're, you know, putting things together, and it's not just for us, it's for the people in our community, right? And so being able to get that insight, our marketing team does a really great job at just down to social media and just saying, hey, what kind of movies do you want to see? Something is so simple, you know. I think that it doesn't have to all necessarily be, it doesn't have to all follow on our shoulders, right? It's really important for us to really bring those community together and just say, hey, you're on our social platforms. What do you guys want to see for live entertainment? What kind of concerts or what kind of events, you know, things of that nature. And then when it comes to budgeting season, we figure out ways to incorporate some of those. And so that's been really cool. And so seeing Colchera Fiesta Latina come together. That's cool. First time ever in October, and seeing all the vendors and the samba dancers and just the activity based around the entire event that evening was really incredible. And I think it just it's a testimony to how hard our team works really to bring things like that to the community.
That's awesome.
And it really makes people feel heard when we're able to create events like that. And one thing that I always think about is, how do we make people feel like they belong? Like this is their place. You know, we want people to go to high school here, but come back. You know, and come back to the city and feel like they belong, and this is where they're going to have their family. And
it's home. That's what makes it home.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. We want it to be their city, and to be able to see themselves and everything that we're kind of doing, whether it's an event or it's just, you know, or it's in the downtown development of the businesses that are coming in. I mean, they kind of always have been there, you know, but getting everybody's voice, I think it feels so much more together now than it used to, really, because you could go to different parts of town to get the best. Like, I'm a local freak, guys. I am going into the Latino grocery store, and I am going to get my flank steak there. I'm going, you know, I will go into those into the markets, and I will get the best burrito and you've ever had in your life, people.
Yes.
Let me just tell you.
I think we need to go to lunch.
It's not about most. That's what I'm saying. You know.
But you're absolutely right. But I think it is about just visiting things that are happening in your community instead of driving outwards to go get that. There are things right in your backyard, and you have to get with people well before they're working class members, you know, like high schoolers, middle schoolers, elementary schools. Like, how do we make sure that those kids are also involved? Because when you say, okay, I went to Central Gwinnett High School and I'm a Black Knight, I want to feel like I belong in Lawrenceville because it's in Lawrenceville. Like, what's happening in the spaces around me that, you know, I don't have to go outside of my area to get that too. And so there's a blend of that as well. But then we also talk about, you know, diversity within our internal stakeholders. Like, we have employees who maybe they don't live in Lawrenceville, but they work here. So how do we make sure that their voices are also being heard and also being a part of that conversation, right? Yeah. And just building that culture within the internal system, I think that's really important to us too.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's just so important for folks to get involved and to speak up and to let Lawrenceville know what you want Lawrenceville to become, because the opportunity is there. From the big major decisions and what to do with traffic and what to do with zoning and what to do with planning, all the way down to what movies to watch on the lawn. So that's kind of cool. That's good to know. And I think that people, once they do know that and they know they can go to your socials, they can hit you guys up an email, that you're there to listen and to be heard and not just to accept complaints. You know who you are. Stop emailing your complaints. All right.
There's
Maybe
a
some
portal.
suggestions would be nice. How about that?
Well, there's a portal online actually. If you go to the website and you go to code enforcement, you scroll down. There's a link to put in your complaint.
Okay.
But
well,
if you want,
we'll take complaints too. Apparently.
yes,
All right.
yeah. But if you want to be able to talk in front of the council, you can sign up with the city clerk to be part of the public comment.
Very cool.
And granted, the council will not be able to address the comment, but they'll listen to it and then they can consider making some changes. So a lot of times we have customers say, I don't like this rule, this is not fair. As the planning department, we have to look what is best for the community as a whole. So a lot of times we are not able to just change a rule just because we want to or just because one person requests a change. We have to let the council know, hey, we have this amount of people saying that this is not right for the community. Maybe we need to consider making an amendment. So if we also have customers or the public come into a public hearing and give their comment during the comment section, then the council can take that under consideration. So they do need to sign up with city clerk to talk, but they're able to come to the public hearings.
That's awesome.
But even if you don't have comments and you just want to know what's going on, like city work session and city council meetings are also on Facebook Live.
Yeah, you guys do a good job with that.
Yeah, I think that came out of the pandemic, and I think that's one of the best things that happened, just because a lot of people, maybe they work during that time, or maybe they're not able to get to City Hall, you know, at 5 or 7 o'clock, but they can get on social media, go to Facebook and see like what's actually going about, what's happening, and then be engaged that way too. So there's so many different avenues and arenas of how they can engage. It's just more so from our standpoint, how do we educate them to know like these are opportunities for them to engage.
Right.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Guys, thank you guys so much for coming in today and talking on the podcast. Is there anything else you want to add or anything you want to direct people towards as we wrap up?
So with a comprehensive plan, we are still gathering information from the public. So if you go to our website, lawrencevilleja.org, and go under planning and development, there should be a link at the top and you're able to take a survey and more information regarding the comprehensive plan. We do need your input because we can't make changes without you.
Awesome. And guys, if you would like Lawrenceville to give out free burritos, please leave a comment in the comment section.
That's going to become a thing.
Hashtag
free burritos. Guys, I hope you have a great day. It's a beautiful day in Lawrenceville. Thanks for listening to the Lawrenceville Bicentennial podcast. Thank you guys for coming out. You guys have a great one.